Doesn't matter what they are, they're all rolling in at 2s. I'm going to stop saying anything predictive rights here because it's turning out to be just a nightmare time for dice. All at 2s for the invading forces. This is Axis and Allies on the Tool Desk channel. We are on video number 3 and turn number 7, playing Anniversary 1942 setup with our Inferior 1 house rule. If you are unfamiliar with the house rule, nip back to video number 1. There's a full explanation on there. Plus there's a link to where you can get a copy of this on BGG. As a quick précis of what happens there, it suggests that a number 1 roll is an inferior hit. Multiples of those may target units, or they may be taken as damage not destroyed, but you'll catch up with that watching this one or one of the previous videos of this series. So we are on turn number 7, and we are on with Japan. There's been one slight change from what I mentioned in the last video, with America actually taking one of these transports down naked off to Australia to boost up 2 more infantry in there. They put some planes in there as well to bolster the strength of the support in Australia, worried about this main Japanese fleet coming down and having a bash at them. Well, Japan have had a change of idea, because Japan were coming this way. Japan were coming in there, smashing Australia, grabbing that next victory city, putting them on to 11 out of the 13 we need for our projected win conditions. However, Japan have changed their mind. Because America have got these 2 fighters down here and some more infantry, it has slightly weakened what's going to happen in the Philippines. And should Japan come down into the Australia, it brings them further away from their base, leaving it not necessarily wide open, but slightly vulnerable. So instead, Japan are taking all this navy from here, all this air, plus this bomber. There's 2 submarines up here in Wake Island as well, can all join in this bash. They'll have about a 25% advantage versus this fleet that's in there. They're going to reserve 1 of these fighter planes. It can go 1, 2 and bash the island. So 1 of the fighter planes with the 3 transport ships and 6 infantry artillery combinations going in one foul swoop. It's not a make or break deal for Japan, but if they get themselves into Honolulu on this turn, it's going to be an absolute fillet in their cap. Let's start rolling that one out, and I'll speak to you about what happens in the India and the non-coms later on. Okay, this battle has been brewing for a little while. We did have part 1 a little while ago, but this is the part 2 of this battle. It's going to be fantastic. We've got these units here on the left-hand side there. This is part of the invasion fleet, which may be taken as casualties during this battle, because in my Inferior 1 house rule, you may target transport vessels. But looking at the units that are involved in this battle, Japan have got a nice even battle versus America for the heavy hitters. Down at the 3 register, there's a bit of an advantage for Japan there, and a small advantage on the 2 registers here, with extra 3 submarines rolling in at 2s rather than defending at 1s, etc. So it's quite tight, but I think if Japan win this battle, it's going to be all over for the Allied forces. It's been quite a difficult game for them thus far anyhow. Let's start rolling some dice. For Japan, they have their 1 bomber at 4 and 2 battleships rolling in at 4s with them. Included in that, there will be 1, 2, 3, 4 at 3 for their fighters, looking for a massive hit to get them going. And it's a fairly good hit, but 3 of those are damaged, not destroyed. They are the Inferior 1 hits. They wouldn't mind doing more damage than that, but okay, needs must. There are now 5 destroyers for Japan, plus 3 submarines. Everybody can see everybody else in this game, because we've got submarines, we've got destroyers, etc. Just have to know what can or can't hit air. All these guys in going at 2s. And it's just 2 of the submarines that scored clean hits out of that. That is the end of the Japanese roll. It is 6 units lost by the Americans. And I think that we can't target a capital ship with our targeted shots. We could target one of these planes here, but I think we want to reduce the amount of shelling coming back towards us as the Japanese player. So I think what we're going to do is going to give those 3 dice to America. They can take those 3 as 3 damaged not destroyed units on their cheapest units that are involved in any of these theatres, which is going to be the naval, we think here. So they're going to take 1, 2, 3 as damaged not destroyed. They will go back on their base card to be repaired at their usual purchase repair stage. And we've got 1, 2, 3 clean hits which America can take. They can absorb 1 on their battleship and then 2 more on the destroyers which are gone from combat as per normal. The reply from America land is 3 at 4 for their heavy hitters, plus 1 at 3 for their cruiser. And it's a bit of a poor show there, really, just the 1 hit by the American forces. Then we can look at their guys at 2s. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys at 2s that are all in their destroyers, plus 1 guy at 2 coming in off their aircraft carrier. And again, it's a bit of a middly roll, that one actually. There's those 2 there, plus that one there, which is an inferior hit. And then there are the 2 submarines rolling in at 1s, which is all they do in this version. And they both miss. So just 4 hits back against Japan. They can take 1 of those as damaged not destroyed. They are going to take 1 on the submarine, damaged not destroyed, cheapest unit. That can go back to its base card. Then we have these 3 hits here, which I can see absolutely no reason why Japan don't take that on those 2 submarines and 1 destroyer. Oh, actually we can absorb 2 hits. That's me not thinking. 2 gets absorbed there on their battleships and 2 submarines are gone. So Japan are really in a very strong position this time round. Let me just take these American ones away. They are the damaged not destroyed. They get repaired in their purchase and repair stage at half the cost rounded up, or they're lost from the game for good. And these 2 guys here are damaged, completely gone from the battles. So, round 2 of the battle. I think Japan have got high hopes here. They're in a good position. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry, it's me not counting. 1, 2, 3 at 4. And there's 4 guys at 3s. Numbers confusing sometimes. And that's a very good hit. There's 1, 2, 3 clean hits off of the 4s. That guy's at a 3. He hits. That guy is an inferior 1 hit. It's still going to count in some kind of way. And there are 4 guys. Sorry, there are 5 guys. Can't keep count of these. At 2s for the destroyers. Let's just switch over different colours. We've got these ones here. These are all at 2s for the destroyers. And scoring just 1 more hit. But okay, it's good enough, we would think, to absolutely smash the Americans. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 regular hits, plus 1 that they can take as damaged not destroyed on the cheapest unit, which I think is going to possibly be one of the destroyers. I can't think they would want to take an air unit this early on, but because it can land in Honolulu if it does survive. But I think 1 is the damage not destroyed. 2, 3, 4. Well, the fight is going to have to go anyway because of the numbers that we got here. So they're going to take on the cheapest air unit. That's going to be damaged not destroyed. And then 1, 2, 3, 4 guys into the casualty bin. Not good for the America lands. In reply, they have their 1 battleship limping. They have their 2 fighter planes and their 1 cruiser, which will be lost after this roll. Scoring 2 hits there. 1 is an inferior 1 hit. Then we have the 1, 2, 3 dice at 2s. And scoring 1 more hit. Again, it's an inferior hit, but they can target now. Because they've got these 2 inferior ones, I think America's best hope of holding on to Honolulu is to use these 2 to, rather than to hit one of these guys that just bashing them. They've already lost this battle, but they can try to target one of these boats that are on the invasion fleet coming forward to help preserve Honolulu itself. So we've got boats here. We've got a mixture of infantry artillery. One of those boats will be gone, along with 1 infantry and 1 artillery unit. That's them targeting that there. These are gone. That's pretty bad for Japan, but they've won this rest of this battle hands down anyway, so don't feel too sorry for them. Let's have a look at the rest of this battle now, because these that one dice now has to be accounted for, which would be one of these destroyers being taken from the battle. And we can go on to the last round of this battle. These guys are gone from the board. That's what I was saying. They're gone from the board. And we now have this guy goes to be repaired on America's turn at half their price. And we have the finally getting down to rolling the dice at the end. I'm so excited with this house rule and this particular battle and the way this thing's gone. It's got me all at a dither. We've got 4s and 3s for our big hitters and our aircraft rolling in there. And we've got 1 inferior hit, 2 inferior hits, so we can target something, and a 3rd hit there. And then we got our 4 destroyers rolling in at 2s. Use black dice for those as well, why not indeed? And scoring 2 more hits. Well, simply with this, we can target what we like. We target that plane, it's gone. And the other dice set is plenty enough to remove this battleship from the game as well. So America's roll back in defense. Oh, and sorry, you get that one right. Plus, we have 2 more hits as well, which we can apply to the transport vessels. So they are gone from the battle as well. America's reply from there, getting ahead of myself, you see, in all my excitement, is 2 guys at 4 to see what they can do against the rest of this Japanese. They're really hoping actually for a pair of 1s again to target some of these invasion fleets, and they've only scored 1 hit as well from that 3 that's been rolled. So that destroyer comes out of this battle. And that, finally, with all my waffling and fumblings, is the end of this battle. These guys are going to remain in the sea zone around Honolulu, and these will get righted at the end of it, and then we get this invasion fleet going on to Honolulu, Hawaiian Islands, to see what they can do about getting into there. And I'll see you in 1 second with that battle set up. Okay, that's units back on the board after that naval engagement around the Hawaiian Islands. We're now going to move on to the amphibious assault, and I am less confident as far as Japan are concerned here, because they lost a couple of guys with the targeted hit that the Americans did against one of their transport vessels, meaning they've lost one of their artillery pieces. They've only got 1 heavier hitter there and a couple of guys at 1s as well. Yeah, it's not going to be good for Japan, but yeah, we can keep our fingers crossed and our loins girded. We have our 1 fighter at 3, and we have 2 guys there rolling in at 2s. What can they do straight away? They can score 2 hits. That's pretty good. That's not a bad start at all. So as we got those 2 as clean hits, we now got to get 2 guys at 1s. We use what I call my lucky dice, trying to get 2 1s out of it. Oh, we got 1 out of it. Well, that's not too bad. We can target one of those American pieces. Actually, that's a 50% loss. That's a pretty good first invasion, I would suggest. So America were going to lose 1 of their infantry as damaged, not destroyed, 2 of them as damaged. They are now going to get to roll 6 dice back at 2s. Okay. Let's hope the Japanese have had their Weetabix for breakfast here. And there is just the 2 hits out of that. One of those is damaged, not destroyed. I think Japan will be happy enough with that. It kind of evens up this battle, I would suggest, because one of those guys is damaged, not destroyed. One of those guys is removed from the game. These guys are removed from the game. There's me fumbling, and he's damaged, not destroyed. So, onto that card there, onto that card up there. The next part of this battle, this is, I think, you could say now that Japan are fractionally in front, because this 1 guy rolling in at 3 and 2 guys rolling in at 2s. Well, maybe they're in front. Can't be sure. 3s and 2s, and they scored just 1 inferior hit. Damn and blast. So that guy there gets moved into the repairable place, and there are now 3 at 2 for America. Scoring 1 hit again themselves. This is a tight battle. That guy's lost, that guy's repairable. Surely this is the final round. Don't know. We got a 3 and a 2. Black dice is the highest register for Japan, rolling in with their fighter and their 1 artillery. And scoring 1 hit again. That's 1 more piece gone to the inferior place. That's another artillery can be repaired. And 2 at 2 for America. And scoring 0 hits. Eek. Okay. This is getting a bit frisky now. We now have this could be the invasion of Honolulu. You realise that? A 3 and a 2. Black dice is the highest register for Japan. And they've missed. Oh, good. So America, can you get one in there? Because I don't think Japan will take this kind of casualty on their fighter. Surely not. America have missed as well. So reprieve there. Last round of battle. Surely. Japan have missed again. Come on. America have missed. They're trying to roll in at 2s. 3 and 2 again. Come on, last roll. They missed again. Oh my giddy aunt, what is going wrong? This is an absolute nightmare situation. And America have scored a hit. Wowee. So that means, I think, no, Japan will take that. Japan will take that on their fighter. We've got to do this. As the Japanese player, we're going to roll in at a 2. America are going to defend at a 2. We're going to roll the 2 dice together to see if Japan can take Honolulu. And they've missed again. And Japan have done it. They've got in there. They've taken out this 1 piece here. It's again a damage not destroyed. They keep damaging these guys here. But it's all repairable by America. So they're not going to be too upset about those pieces. But Japan are going to be into, let me move this around in all my excitement, focus into the Hawaiian Islands. That's going to be their 11th victory city here. Let me get all that tidied back up. Let me sort out all the casualties and the non-com movements, because all Japan are going to be doing after that is non-comming a little bit around the area and getting themselves into India, moving this tank in here, this one artillery piece into it, and flying this plane into there as well to support this British incursion, which will be coming up later on in the turn. Let me go off camera and I'll see you in a wee while. Okay, that's how things look now outside of Honolulu. The rising sun flying proudly there in the breeze. They bought themselves a couple of destroyers, the Japanese, as part of their reinforcements ahead of time, thinking they were going to lose a lot more navy than they did. And they've done very well in that navy battle. Obviously a lot tighter in the land battle. And there was a destroyer and a cruiser here off of the main island that's come down into the Philippine Islands. And the one carrier that was here, one of the 2 carriers that are here, have moved back into here to protect the Philippine Islands from a possible incursion from it. It's not going to happen. We know that Japan are way in front of this side of the board. They have been for a very long time. Over in India, as I mentioned, a possible move from Japan was reinforcing into there. A tank that was in Yunnan, the guy was in Burma, and they've built themselves 3 tanks as well, figuring that holding on to India is quite critical, and if they can get this one big defence of India versus these Brits coming in at this turn, then it's going to be really too much for Britain to retake that on later turns. So that will be it for the Japanese on turn number 7. We'll be on with the Soviets next, but I need a little lie down, that is for sure. Okay, I'm back now to my little nap. Man alive, did I need that. I have noticed before we get on to the Soviet round a couple of mistakes when uploading that clip I just made. Yep, I assigned 1 too many hits onto the Japanese forces, taking 1 submarine too many from them. So I can put that one back into the water and let that fleet grow by 1. Mistakes happen, you just got to live for them. Also, I didn't assign one of the hits I could have done to the American fleet. I think it was in the second round of that battle. Me just being dumb there, but we've smashed the Americans out there anyway. We're not too upset about that as a Japanese player. When we get on to the Soviets, they have got themselves quite an unusual purchase for really any stage in this game. They're buying themselves an industrial complex as well as some infantry, artillery and some tanks. They saved a lot of money from the previous purchase phase, but they didn't even spend any on the previous purchase phase to do this. What they wanted to do, I think in one of the early editions of Axis and Allies, it's possibly the revised edition, one comes in the big purplish bluish box, you can move your factories backwards on one of the optional rules. You can take them away from the German advance and move them back so they can produce things further away, which is effectively what we're doing. Germans have taken that one by force. We can build a factory into Novosibirsk, start producing units there. They've also purchased for themselves a half a dozen tanks to go into Russia and infantry artillery to go into the Caucasus. Reason being, if the Brits are going to hit the Germans from the north and the Americans are going to hit the Germans from the south, the least we can do, being polite as Soviet soldiers, is hit them from the east. But we need some power to do that. We're not going to be doing a full-on attack just yet. We're going to be building the 6 guys in here and the 4 guys into here. But we are going to try a little skirmish. We're going to take these guys that are in eastern Ukraine. Eastern Ukraine, yes, not western. And they're going to hit eastern Poland. And they're going to hit those with infantry artillery just from this state, and a couple of tanks from Belarus are going to join in this battle. The guys in Ukraine are going to stay here as a backstop, and then we're going to reinforce into Caucasus and Russia afterwards. Let's just do this battle first. It's 2 guys from here. It's about 8 units from there. In total, maybe it's 7. Against these guys, as a skirmish, can we reduce the pressure and stop this German advance coming forward? Just put a hiccup in the supply line again, make them look 3 ways at once. I'll get that up on the battle board and I will see you over there. Okay, there's the battle flag in eastern Poland. I had to check that reference in the revised edition about these factories moving back. It's called mobile industry, part of the optional national advantage, a great sort of rule you can bring into these games. I think the revised edition is great for those funky little introductions that it brought to this game. But let's get on with the game we're actually playing, not one from years gone past. We've got this battle on the board here. It's not good for the Soviets. They're approximately 2-1 down on the battle numbers, but it's a needs must kind of move, we think. Let's start rolling some dice. They've got 2 tanks there that are going to be rolling in at 3s, and there are 4 infantry artillery combinations. So it's dropping the dice everywhere, going in at 2s, and there'll be 3 guys rolling in naked at the end. 3s and 2s. And it is not a good start for them. There's just the 2 hits there. One of them is an inferior hit. Plus there's 3 guys rolling in naked. We use my lucky dice for this. And they got a lucky hit. Nice. They can use that to target one of those units. These 2 together rather to target a unit. And what they might as well do, because that one's hitting back again at force, is an economic damage to the Germans as well as anything else. So they're going to target that. That is going to be taken as a targeted casualty. And this one hit is going to be a regular casualty, which would be one of the German infantry. Let's now do the German pushback. It's it's going to be harsh. It's going to be harsh. We know that. There's the 1 fighter defending at a 4. There are 8 tanks at 3s. Yeah, that's going to hurt. We're going to use those dice and those dice as the 3s, 4s and 3s. And it's a little bit fortunate there, I think, for the Soviet player there, because I can just see those 3 hits there. That's the 4s, rest of 3s, they've all missed. Now, for the infantry, got that little bit of pushing at the end there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys. You can use all black dice, all rolling at 2s. And it's not. It could have been worse. It could have been worse for the Soviets, that's for sure. But there are 5 hits off the Soviets there. They can take all those off of infantry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and they can now pull these units back into eastern Ukraine, end of that skirmish. It's not been a very good roll for the Soviets. We hope we do more damage than that. But we've at least taken that 1 dangerous fighter plane out of that battle, and 1 of the infantry guys. I was perhaps being a bit ambitious there, but that was the only move we were going to make with the Soviets. Let me get everything tidied back up on the board and then reinforcements, and I will see you on the German turn. So that there is the purchases for Germany on turn number 7. We have put all the Soviets back up onto the board, and I had a little rethink about that battle, a little reprise in my mind as to whether it was worth it or not. Well, war is never worth it, but in actual terms of my PCs, the Soviets did 12 damage to the Germans. Realistically, yeah, financially it worked out okay. It probably wasn't the best of moves. On with Germany now. Well, we are thinking, or my initial thought was perhaps Germany going to Belarusia, where it's quite weak up there. Yes, that's entirely possible. It does put them on the doorstep of a very heavily defended Moscow state, though, so it's not the best move to make. They could go into eastern Ukraine, where they are the weaker forces, with a couple of tanks in here, but they are then vulnerable to an attack from Belarusia, from Moscow, and from Ukraine, and possibly from Caucasus as well. There's this central point for them. Instead, what Germany are going to do, they're taking all these tanks, all these infantry, plus that one fighter that's been helping out the Italians in Bulgaria, Romania, and they're going to go into Ukraine this way. We figure if Germany can get into Ukraine here and smash that entirely, it does give a possible chance for the Italians, hooray, to come through on a blitz move with their couple of tanks and take out these guys in Caucasus and get that 12th victory city really early. It's possible. It's an outside chance, but I think that's going to really throw a spanner in the Allied works if we do that. Let me get this battle up here. All these tanks, infantry, one fighter into Ukraine on the board. I will see you over there. Okay, this is the battle for Ukraine. Germany have got 8 tanks going to roll in at 3s. That's 6, 7, 8, plus one fighter rolling in at 3s as well. Pretty important first roll this, although okay, all battles are important, but this one seems particularly so. All at 3s, and that's a fairly good start for Germany. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1 inferior hit. That's 5 hits straight away. They've also got 4 guys there running in naked at 1s. We use my lucky dice for this. All at 1s. And scoring 1 more hit. Well, okay, that's an extra hit done by that. They're lucky for a reason. We've got 6 hits to be done. We can target, but I think let's just give all those dice to the Soviet player. It's 6 damage off of them. They're going to take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2 of those are going to go into the damage not destroyed place to be repaired next time. Should Soviets stay alive, they'll be alive, but not for much longer. Let's now roll the Soviet reply from that. They have got 8 dice. We use mainly red dice because we can. And a couple of lucky dice just to prove that these dice are just lucky. All at 2. Soviet reply. And they've scored 4 hits. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think they'll be happy enough with that as a reply by the Soviet army there. That's all the infantry gone. So anything else that they do, it's not going to be a lot, but anything else they're going to do will be on the more expensive units. I'll put those 2 guys over there on the Soviet card. And one of those German guys is onto a repair as well. Then we can look at round 2 of this battle. We've got, again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and a 9th dice for the fighter planes and tanks all rolling in. Looking at just 2 more hits there, and there are plenty of hits there. We can target a unit with those. The other one can go onto that one there. That unit is destroyed. And for the Soviets in reply, 2 at 2. Red artillery dice, why not indeed? And score 1 more hit, a clean hit off of Germany. That's one of their tanks that have got taken out of there. That means that Ukraine has fallen, and we put German tanks into Ukraine at the end of it, and I'll start doing all the reinforcements and non-com movements off camera. I'll see you on the British turn. Okay, we are on with the Brits in turn number 7. Their purchases have been mainly infantry artillery, but they're going to have 2 attacks this turn. They're going into Karelia in a big way. Everything from Finland is going to go in there. They've got this bomber from the UK, flies 1, 2, 3. It can get back home again after the attack, should it survive. And these 2 fighters are going 1, 2, 3 and can land in Finland, where these units are coming in from. There'll be some non-com afterwards, getting units from the UK into Norway, but that's for later on. And the second attack they're going to be doing is down into India. We think where this one is probably in favour of the Brits grabbing that victory city back, we think down here in India it's a much harder prospect, because Though there's plenty of tanks and fighters on the British side, there's a lot there from the Japanese side too in reply. So let's get the battle into Karelia up and running first, and I'll see you on the battle board. Okay, here we go. First thing we've got to start off with is the anti-aircraft gun that's going to fire against these 3 planes. We're going to have one guy rolling against the bomber and 2 lucky dice against the fighter. Why not indeed? And mic drop moment. Oh my giddy aunt, we've just taken out 2 of those planes. Okay, well, bomber and fighter has to go from the anti-aircraft gun. My giddy aunt, that's caught me out. That changes things around a little bit. I think the Brits are still in front here. Let's roll the first part of their attack though. We've got a fighter and a tank at 3s. We've got 2 guys at 2s. Rest of the guys are going in at 1s. There's 6 guys going in at 1s. This better be a make-up roll by the Brits here, that's for sure. And it's not a make-up roll. Those are the 3s that have missed, and those are the 2s that are missed. Oh my giddy aunt. There's now 6 guys going in at 1s. Let's just give them black dice. Try and do something. This is the naked infantry. And scoring just the 1 hit. That is absolute disaster by the Brits there. 1 guy comes off of this German, and he's going to be a damaged, not destroyed. But that doesn't matter too much. It's what they can do back in their reply. They have got 2 tanks at 3. There were 5 guys. Double check that just to make sure. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, there were 5 guys in there at 2s. Plus there are 2 artillery. It's absolutely thrown me. 2 artillery pieces at 2s as well. So they're 3s. These are 2s. This we thought was an easy battle for the Brits. So far they got it completely wrong. And the German reply there is quite devastating, I would suggest. That's a hit. That is a clean hit. And then we got 4 others, which are the inferior ones. But I should think that they're going to be blasting those over to the Brits and saying, you must take 6 casualties from there. Because getting them away from their rebuilding point is exactly what the Germans want to do. So that's going to be 6 guys, 1, 2, taken off of the Brits. They're not even going to, they could target, but no, they're just going to take 6 casualties off the Brits, which is all their infantry units that are running naked. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. 4 of those will go on to the base card as repairable on the British term, but obviously, as I said to you, they're repairable somewhere else. They're not repairable somewhere local. That is really annoying. I thought the Brits had that one in the bag. Do they carry on forward with this attack? Let me have a quick think about this. I don't see how we can. If we carry on forward with this attack, we've got some heavy hitters. They've got 3s and 2s, but the Germans can absorb that, and it will leave Finland absolutely bereft of pieces when we can stack through and try to build up again for next turn. I think that's going to have to be it for that attack into Karelia. The Brits have got that completely wrong. That is really, really poor. Great for Germany, but a really poor show as far as the Brits are concerned. Next up is going to be this attack into India. Okay, I've reset now for this battle into India. I'm still excited about that battle into Karelia. Complete mistake by the Brits. Complete bad dice rolling by the Brits. The Germans hung on valiantly in there. But we're in India. We've got to put that behind us. This one into India, into Calcutta, whatever you want to call it. And we've got this one anti-aircraft gun. It's going to fire at those 2 British Spitfires that are there. I'm sure the Brits are hating the anti-aircraft guns right now. But they've missed entirely this time around. The Brits are happy enough with that. That gun can go back out into India. And we have 2 fighters for the Brits, plus 4 tanks, all going in at 3s. And there are 3 infantry, 3 artillery, that's 6 at 2 going in there as well. So black is 3, reds are 2. And it's a poor roll again. That's a disastrous. I'm just looking at that. Oh my giddy aunt, that's like the one into Karelia. There is no 3s from the black dice and no 2s from the red dice. That is absolutely amazing. Yeah. It happens sometimes, it's absolutely horrible, but that is the way the leper crumbles. We have to roll Japanese reply. We can't just ignore these dice rolls when they go badly. We have 1, 2, 3 fighters, sorry, all at 4 for these Japanese planes here. There are 5 tanks all in reds. There's a small amount of infantry artillery after that. Wowee. And that looks great for Japan there, doesn't it? I mean, that one's missed. That one has missed, and that one has missed. But so far there is 1, 2, 3, 4 clean hits plus 1 inferior 1 hit. And then there are 3 at 2 for the infantry artillery combinations. We use the lucky dice just to rub salt in the wounds and score 1 more hit out of it. Again, I think as the Germans did to the Brits, the Japanese are going to do to the Brits as well. They're not going to take those as targeted. They're going to just punch everything they can back out of India because of the supply line trace that they have getting their units there in the first place. So 6 units lost by the Brits. That is all their infantry and all their artillery. 2 infantry can go back to Blighty to be repaired. It's a long, long way away, although their factory is a little bit closer. But do the Brits carry on this attack now? If they get into India and get this factory, it's going to hurt the Japanese. I think they have to push through because they can hurt this factory. There's nothing there close enough to India. There's nobody in Burma can retake that just yet. The transport ships, so I'm pointing in different places as per usual. The transport ships that Japan are in Manila or Formosa. They can't get there just yet, so we have to roll this out. This is a not quite do or die, but a must-win fight for the Brits here. So they've got their 4 tanks and 2 fighters. Can they bust through this stout Japanese defence? 6 dice, all at 3s. Not as bad as last time. Please. And they've scored 3 hits. That's got somewhere into the Japanese forces. The cheap units go. They are in the casualty strip straight away. The reply from Japan now. They have 3 at 4 plus 5 at 3. 1, 2, 3 at 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 at 3 for their tank. Did I say 5 or 6? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. And that's not too bad. Actually, sorry, it's worse than I thought. There's 2 at 4. I was thinking those are different numbers. And these are at 3. That's 4 of the Brits. Yep. Okay. I guess one unit can be taking this damage not destroyed by the Brits. What do? We take it on the fighter. One of these fighters is damaged, not destroyed. I should put that just to remind me somewhere else. And then 3 more hits on them will be taken on the tanks. And I think, well, yeah, there's nothing really that they can't get in there. They can't land in there. They got to pull back into Persia and wait for another day. So these are all gone from there. The Brits will have 1 fighter in their repair bin, gone to Burton-on-Trent to be repaired. If you know what the saying for gone for Burton means. And those guys here will be back into India for Japan and the Allied. Well, they are way in front right now. I'm not really sure the Allied can do a lot more. It's such an unexpected result from those massive dice rolls that it's now thrown me entirely. Let me get this stuff back up on the board, get the British reinforcements in place, and I'll speak to you in a wee while. Okay, it's a fresh day with a fresh pair of eyes, and people smarter than me would have noticed, as I did when loading this up onto the computer, what a complete mess I made of that final part of the attack by the Brits into India. When India were replying, we did their tanks and the fighters, but I forgot to roll the 3 casualties, 2 infantry, 1 artillery versus this 1 tank and 1 fighter that was left there. And so if we can mitigate a mistake, then we are going to try to do that. We've got 3 dice for them. It's 3 at 2s. What can they do? They can all miss, but we have crossed our eyes, we have drunk our tea. That's it. We've got no more cock-ups, we think. But you never know your luck with me playing this game. So following that attack into India, now cleared up, the Brits have reinforced into Persia by running one tank in from Egypt, and also a couple of guys that were, let me just focus back, a couple of guys here that have been hanging around Italian Africa and Rhodesia for most of this time, worried that the Japanese would come across from the Indian Ocean and sweep into South Africa. Well, they're now moving up. They've got to try to support these guys here at a certain point in time. But the Brits, obviously losing out to those monumental dice rolls, went absolutely horribly for them. They are in a bit of disarray. They were hoping to use their factory in Egypt to get back to India and potentially build a factory in there, whatever, but also divert their forces northwards to help support the Soviet forces. That isn't going to happen now. The Brits have got this real fight on their hands. This battle into India went horrible. Same as the battle up there in Karelia went horribly for them. But the Brits have loaded their units across into Finland from Norway to support the guys there that lost out, and the guys into Norway from the UK. Next up, though, it's just going to be the Italian turn, I believe, and it's going to be a lot of reinforcements, I think, as a purchase, because they're worried about these Americans on their doorstep. The Americans themselves had a very soporific game thus far, but we think the Italians are going to try and shoot through these two tanks and have a pop at the Caucasus. Yep, it's a bit of a dodgy move, but we'll see if it works out for them. Let me get up on the board and I'll see you in a second. Okay, this is the battle into the Caucasus. We've got those two Italian tanks that are there and the one fighter. The tanks have blitzed their way through from Bulgaria, Romania, through Ukraine, which is a friendly territory, into Caucasus, and the one fighter's come out of the Balkans, gone 1, 2, 3, and one more landing space after that can go back into the Ukraine and land. And it's going to be a pretty easy battle for the Italians because they have got 9 points in their battle numbers, 3, 6, 9, and the Soviets have got just 8 points in defence. So it's a guaranteed win by the Italians here. Possibly, but they have got their one anti-aircraft gun that can fire first at a 1. Let's roll that first to try and hit this one Italian plane, and it narrowly missed it. Okay, they can go back on the board. That would have been funny. Now we've got the one fighter at 3 and 2 tanks at 3 rolling in for Italy for the glory of the Axis. And they've just scored 2 hits. Right, one of those is an inferior hit. That can be taken on the cheapest unit. That's 1 infantry. Another infantry guy goes there too. In reply from that, we've got 4 dice. I'm going to change colours because we can. We've got 4 red dice, all at 2s for the Soviets. And they have scored absolutely chuff all. When it goes good, it goes good. When it goes bad, So 1 is damaged, not destroyed. 1 is damaged and removed from the game. We go on to round 2 of the battle now. Again, 3. I promise you, these dice aren't fixing their colour schemes to do different things. They're just dice. We've got 3 at 3. In fact, I'm going to roll them all together. We got 3 at 3 for the Italians rolling in, and we got 2 at 2 for the Soviets in defence. Because we can, because we like doing this sort of thing. And again, it's one of these guys at 3 that's hit. That's 1 more of this Soviets gone. He goes to the casualty strip. They didn't get anything in reply. This is absolutely horrible. This game is just... I can't say it's turned on its head, but there's been a few dice rolls here that have just been absolutely ridiculous. But that's why you play dice games. So far around this battle, I was joking when I said they get in there easily. They're going to get in there easily. They've got 3 at 3 versus 1 at 2 for the Italians into the Caucasus. Caucasus will fall with this dice roll, and it does fall, even though 1's missed entirely. 2 of those 3s have scored a hit, so that guy there is gone, and it's 1 inferior hit back onto the Italian forces. They might as well take that on their tank. That goes there, back onto their car to be repaired later on. These guys will be into Caucasus. That guy's going to land in the Ukraine, and I'll put the Italian forces, their reinforcements, which is just an infantry purchase this time, back into the Mediterranean states there, and get back to you in a wee while. Okay, that is the Italian tricolor flying proudly above the Caucasus there. There, one tank in there. It's vulnerable, but it's there. It was a magical dive roll. We love that sort of thing sometimes. The Italians have reinforced themselves a little bit into Italy itself, a little bit into Balkans, and a bit of a shuffle forward. Got some units into Ukraine now. But they're not too worried about supporting themselves down here, because the only attack that's going to come from them in the Med, or across from the Med, will be these guys from America land. If they come across and have a pop at Italy, it's worth 6 IPCs. It's a good place to take for the American player, but they're a long way from their supply source, which is back over in the eastern United States. We don't think that the Allied forces were going to come through and have a pop at there, because they haven't got enough transport supply lines going. They've got plenty of transport, but on the wrong side of them right now. So in that case, the Italians have left a couple of guys there in France to help support France, figuring that the Allied are continuing their push forward, and France is going to be where they expect the Americans to go to. And indeed, I've pre-thought out the American turn as well, which is upcoming next, and it does include that attack into France. I hope I'm not using insider trading there, but it does just seem logical to me that the Americans wouldn't be so far away from eastern United States with no supply line to attack Italy itself. They're going to come around and hit France on their turn. The reason why they're choosing France, well, obviously it's a little bit easier to get to France in the first place, but should they successfully get into France and take the 6 IPCs away from the Axis forces, the Brits can come down. They've got 3 transport ships here in sea zone number 3. They can go through 6 and 7, and they can load troops into France afterwards. So a successful landing by the Americans there would be a severe dent in the German coffers. So let's get that one up on the board first. It's 10 units from here, from North Africa, can get themselves into France and have a pop at that. I'll see you on the battle board. Okay, that's the transports, all move round from sea zone 12 into sea zone number 7. They've got a couple of destroyers there to help protect them. Slightly worried about this small German fleet there, but not overly worried, we don't think. And on the battle board, well, we've got an inclusion of the 10 units that have landed on the beaches, plus the 1 bomber that's come over from the UK. It's an American bomber. It joins in this battle. The first thing we've got to roll is this 1 anti-aircraft gun. Let's just move that around a little bit. 1 anti-aircraft gun that rolls in from the Germans. Hello. I was going to say, I'll stop making predictions here. We have just knocked out that bomber. Oh my giddy aunt. This is phenomenal. The dice rolls that you dream of, or it gives you nightmares, depending on which side you're on. Let's go on. We've just got now 10 dice for the invading forces. It's infantry artilleries for America land. Doesn't matter what they are. They're all rolling in at 2s. I'm going to stop saying anything predictive rights here, because it's turning out to be just a nightmare time for dice. All at 2s for the invading forces, and scoring just 1 hit. Yes, just 1 hit. It's at a 1. It's an inferior hit. Everything else there. How does this keep on happening? I've got no idea. One of those units is damaged and not destroyed. It might as well be an Italian guy, because he's out of place slightly. We'll put him into the repair yard just a little bit. In reply here, there are 1, 2, 3 infantry, plus 5 infantry. That makes 8, and 1 makes 9 in reply, all at 2s. So there's 6, 7, 8, 9. Keeping my mouth shut. Everything I say goes belly up. And that's a poor roll. Finally, we've got a reprise of a poor roll. It's balanced itself out just about. Again, 1 damaged, not destroyed result can go on to one of these Americans. It will go on to one of their infantry units. Let me move these, dropping things. Let me move things to their places. because they're both damaged, not destroyed. And we can carry on with this battle sensible, please. So we now have just the 9 units from America land. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, all rolling in at 2s. Trying to get onto them beaches. And a much, much better hit. That is superb. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2 of those are inferior hits. They can target something, but I think what they're going to do with that is just give all those hits, because they want to get on the beaches as fast as they can. All those hits will be applied by the defending forces there. 5 off of there. 1, 2, and then 1, 2, 3 of the Germans are removed from the game. These are removed. These are damaged and not destroyed. So I think that would leave 8 dice, if I remember rightly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 dice in reply for the defending Axis forces. 1, 2, 3, 4 plus 1, 2, 3, 4. So these are all the defence at 2s. And that's gone. These are crazy dice today. Look at that. There's just 2 misses. That is 6 guys there have been absolutely mashed. 1, 2, 3, and they've matched their colours as well. Again, from there, they're not going to target. They're going to repel this force there. 6 off for the Americans, please. 3 will be damaged, not destroyed, and 3 will be regular casualties. So it's 1, 2, 3, damaged, not destroyed. 1, and then 2, 3 are completely gone from the battle. Wowee. So, yeah. Oh, and we've got to take these ones here as well. My mistake, nearly. Get rid of those guys and those guys. You know, I think this might end up, because it's now 3 versus 3 there, it might end up with a completely empty space there. And obviously the Brits don't go until after the Germans go next time round. So, yeah, okay, this is just going bad to us. So we've got these 3 dice here for the Americans. We give those the black dice. They are all rolling in at 2s. And in reply from here, we got 3 dice from the Germans. It's all German stuff in there, yeah. Wasn't any Italians left in there. So we give the Germans the red dice and the Americans the black dice. One of our dual rolls, our world famous dual rolls. And nothing has hit anything on that roll. These dice are just so hilarious. I'll do them separately this time. So for the Americans, again trying to roll in at 2s and score 0 hits. For the Germans defending at 2s and scoring 0 hits. They've gone cold. These dice run hot and cold. Americans at 2s and miss again. The Italians at 2. The Germans at 2s and score 2 more hits. Well, they're 2 inferior hits that are there. We can just punch back 2 of those guys onto their repair place. And we're going to have now, well, they can't retreat from there because they're amphibious units anyway. 1 at 2, it scores a miss. And then 3 at 2 by the Germans in defence. And they finally knock out that piece there. So that is, yeah. That's just the joys of dice rolling when they happen in that way. I've said before, I've been at a dither with some of these dice rolls that are coming in. I am flabbergasted with some of the result in the last couple of rounds. So these guys here from Germany go back in there. They retain control. That will be the end of the American turn. It will also be the end of turn number 7. There's nothing happening for the Americans over in the Pacific to speak of, but let me just gather my thoughts again, check the timeline on the video, and I'll come back to you in 1 second. Yeah, as I thought, we are running a little bit close for time for the length of this video. For the Americans, we didn't make any purchases at the start of this round for the Atlantic side of the map. We have got units we can put on the Atlantic side of the map, but what's the point? We think the Germans are overrunning this place. I think the Americans really want to continue with their plan. It's a reinforcement plan. There's no movements over there by the American player. To reinforce and try to re-establish some kind of control over here in the Pacific. It's been a real tough game for them. There's a couple of fighters that they moved into Australia. They are still there. They're kind of stranded. I mean, they can reach, I think, India, something like that on force basis. But obviously now the Japanese are in control of that. So I'm going to put the reinforcements on the board for the Pacific side. And if there's one or two left over that I can divert, then maybe I will. But that will be it for video number 3. I think video number 4 will probably see the end of this game, because the Axis now have 12 of the 13 victory cities that they require for the predicted win, which is what we're going to be playing to. So I will see you in video number 4, turn number 8, coming up sometime very soon. Till next time, be cool.